WPIAL Podcast, Triple Live High School Sports Network, putting a little fancy bow on the 2025 regular season. A couple games on Saturday, and then the season is over. Those games will be taking place as the WPIAL Football Committee is getting together to not only put the 6 brackets together, but also determine which 16 teams will earn wild cards and be part of the fun. So Selection Saturday, a lot of teams will be anxiously awaiting to see their fate. Did they or didn't they? All those teams on the bubble. We're going to run down the scores and what we usually do on this podcast to wrap up the Friday night. But we'll also try to give you an idea on the playoff picture and those teams that are indeed on the bubble. We'll start in Class 6A. Don't have to worry about bubble teams in 6A. It's the top 4 teams into the semifinals, not next week, but in 2 weeks. Central Catholic beats Cannon McMillan 45-10. Owen Herrick, 8 of 12 passing, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns for the winning Vikings. Those 2 teams will meet in the semifinal again. More on that. Giovanni Rothruff, 265 yards rushing. Tristan Tavares, a touchdown pass, a touchdown run. Norwin clinches with a 14-7 victory over Mount Lebanon. Andrew Lobig, a touchdown pass, a touchdown run, and Danny Drennan, a 52-yard pick six. Seneca Valley stuns North Allegheny 21-18 in the 6A, 5A non-conference game. Dominic Dietrich, 19 of 32 passing, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns. Hempfield ends on a high note. Spartans win at home over Gateway, 42-38. Central Catholic, your 6A regular season champions. North Allegheny and Norwin finished tied for second, but North Allegheny will get home field advantage in that semifinal game because they beat Norwin earlier this year. It was a good game. But the Tigers are 2, the Knights are 3, and Cannon McMillan, based on head-to-head victories over both Mount Lebanon and Seneca Valley, gets 4th place despite the loss to Central Catholic, and they'll play the Vikings again in 2 weeks at the home field of the defending champions. 5A, Allegheny 6, 5A overall, top 3 teams from each conference make it to the playoffs, plus 3 wildcard teams. In the Allegheny 6 conference, Nolan DeLucia, 16 of 21 passing, 242 yards, 2 touchdown tosses, and a touchdown run as Peters Township blanks Bethel Park 35-0 to finish the regular season undefeated. Braden Stewart, 2 touchdown runs, Moon 24, South Fayette 21, and Upper St. Clair 56. Baldwin 8. Peters Township, your conference champion. Moon is in at number 2. Upper St. Clair clinches in 3rd place. Bethel Park is 4th. South Fayette is 5th. Remember last year, 5 teams from this conference made it, 2 wildcard teams. We'll see if that happens again. I believe it will with the Hawks and the Lions. Big East Conference, Cam Walter, 12 of 17 passing, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Scoop Smith, 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown reception. Woodland Hills, 28. Kiski area, nothing. Cody Yacamelli, 122 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Penn Trafford, 42-14 winners over Latrobe. Jaden Oliver, 17 of 18 passing, a nearly perfect night for the Armstrong quarterback. 256 yards passing and 2 touchdowns tossed. Riverhawks, 41, and Franklin Regional, 14. Woodland Hills is your Big East Conference champion in first place, obviously. Penn Trafford has clinched in 2nd place. In Kiski area, wins the 3-way tiebreaker over Armstrong and Gateway based on WPIAL tiebreaker points. So the Cavaliers have clinched. They finish in 3rd place. Armstrong is 4th and then Gateway 5th. So the Riverhawks are on the bubble. Northeast Conference, Pine Richland 49, Shaler 17. Aaron Strader, 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run for the winning Rams. Plum knocks off Penn Hills 20-14 to keep their playoff hopes alive. John Nunnenberg, 14 of 27 passing, 117 yards and a touchdown for the winning Mustangs. Pine Richland is your Northeast Conference champion, with Penn Hills losing. Shaler and North Hills finished tied for second. Shaler wins that tiebreaker, so they are in as the second place team out of the NEC. North Hills is in as the third place team out of the NEC. Fourth place team on the bubble is the Plum Mustangs. All right, let's go to Class 4A. No, the 5A, 3A, there were two of them. Non-conference games. Speaking of North Hills, they make the playoffs, but they lose in Week 9, 35-31 to Central Valley, the number 2 team out of 3A's Western Hills Conference. Braddock Ambrose, 14 of 26 passing, 157 yards, 4 touchdowns for the winning Warriors. And Fox Chapel over East Allegheny, 37-22. Big game for Joe Geller, 143 yards passing and 3 touchdowns for the Foxes. He also had 122 yards rushing and 2 scores as Fox Chapel finishes at 3-7. All right, Class 4A, it's a smaller field. Only 8 teams make the playoffs. Top 2 from each conference and 2 wild cards. We'll start in the Parkway Conference. Montour, in a winner-take-all game, beats West Allegheny 34-13. Caden Halashio, 184 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for the Spartans, who finished tied for the conference championship with Newcastle. The Red Hurricanes come back to beat Blackhawk 41-17. Marino Graham, 14 of 23 passing, 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it looks like Aliquippa might once again make the playoffs for a 32nd straight year. They win big at Ambridge 57-7. So again, Montour, Newcastle are in. They are co-champions. Newcastle is the number 1 seed out of the Parkway. Montour is 2, based on the Red Hurricanes win earlier over the Spartans. Aliquippa and West Allegheny finished tied for 3rd. Aliquippa gets the nod based on their victory earlier this year over the Indians. So the Indians, they need 2 wild cards from the Parkway Conference for them to make it to the playoffs. Big 6 Conference, Jonah Williamson, 120 yards passing, 148 yards rushing, 1 touchdown pass, 2 touchdown runs. Trinity 34, Bell Vernon 21. Thomas Jefferson cruises past Laurel Highlands 58-7, and Tayshawn Lewis 219 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Chartiers Valley stays alive 38-0 over Ringgold. Trinity is your conference champion. Thomas Jefferson clinches 2nd place. Right now on the bubble in 3rd place is Chartiers Valley. Greater Allegheny Conference, Keymon Spell 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. McKeesport crushes Knock 57-0. Colin Uriznik, 11 of 12 passing, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mars 42, Indiana 7, and Hampton knocks off West Mifflin 15-13. Jake Lewis, 19-yard field goal in the 4th quarter is the difference in that game. McKeesport is the GAC conference champion. Mars is in as 2nd place, and on the bubble, 3rd place is Hampton. All right, to Class 3A we go. 12 teams make the playoffs, top 3 from each conference, plus 3 wild cards. Western Hills Conference, Avonworth goes into the postseason at 10-0 after beating Beaver 49-7. Carson Bellinger, 7 of 11 passing, 162 yards and 4 touchdowns. North Catholic wins another wild one against Hopewell. Those 2 teams have closed out the regular season with dandies the last 2 years. Joey Felitsky, 23 of 28 passing, 332 yards, 4 touchdowns. Trojans 44, the Vikings 36. Atticus Bar, 9 of 18 passing, 124 yards and 3 touchdowns. Quaker Valley 21, McGuffey nothing. Conference champion is Avonworth. They have clinched. Central Valley is 2nd. They have clinched. And North Catholic is 3rd. They have clinched. Beaver finishes 4th on the bubble. And Hopewell finishes 5th. And they also will be considered as a bubble team for the wild card come Saturday when the selection committee meets. Allegheny 7 Conference, Imani Christian finishes the season undefeated. They crush Freeport 53-7. Gabe Jenkins, 11 of 21 passing, 229 yards and 3 touchdowns, 129 yards on the ground in 3 scores as well for the talented junior. Jamarcus Prager, 11 of 18 passing, 178 yards and a touchdown. Highlands Blanks Valley, 45-0. And Burrell's Antonio Perkins, 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Bucks stay alive with a 48-41 victory over Deer Lakes. Imani Christian is your conference champion. They're in. Highlands is in at number 2, and Freeport is in at 3rd place. Burrell on the bubble in 4th place. And finally, the Interstate Conference in 3A. Ryan Messina, 8 of 9 passing, 236 yards, 4 touchdowns. Elizabeth Forward, 41. Mount Pleasant, 7. Avarian Darnell, 2 touchdowns as Southmoreland blanks Greensburg Salem, 38-0. Scotty's finished the regular season at 9-1. And Derry, 47-20 winners over York. Max Doherty, 142 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Trojans. Elizabeth Forward is your Interstate Conference champion. Southmoreland clinches 2nd place. Derry is in as the 3rd place team. On the bubble is the Mount Pleasant Vikings. 2A non-conference helping their wild card chances in 2A, which, by the way, 3 conferences, top 3 teams, and 4 wild cards. It's a 13-team field in 2A. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart beats Keystone Oaks in a non-conference matchup, 23-8. J.J. Hayden, 2 touchdown passes for the Chargers, who, again, helped their resume in a hope for a 2A wild card. All right, we'll start in the Midwestern Athletic Conference. Wyatt Sparmany with 264 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. What a year he's having. Western Beaver crushes Freedom, 50-0. Bobby Fadden, 15 of 18 passing, 218 yards. Also scored 3 touchdowns as Mohawk wins at Riverside, 35-24. Elwood City comes back to beat Beaver Falls, 25-24. Tyler Smiley, 18 of 28 passing, 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. And New Brighton wins at home over Union, 6-2. Western Beaver had already clinched the conference championship. Elwood City, with their win, clinches 2nd place in a playoff berth. Mohawk, with their come-from-behind victory, they beat out both Riverside and Beaver Falls in tiebreaker points, so they earned 3rd place, and they have clinched a playoff spot. Right now, Riverside is 4th and on the bubble. Beaver Falls is 5th and on the bubble. And don't forget New Brighton. They're 6-4. They finish in 6th place, but could they possibly get a wild card? 3 wild cards from MAC? Well, stay tuned. Century Conference, Kymar Freedom, 279 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Seton LaSalle is your conference champion after beating Washington 27-14. Waynesburg Central, 43-6 winners at Stowe Rocks. And Charleroi 30, Carleton 6 in the Battle of the Cougars. Century Conference, 1st place Seton LaSalle, 2nd place Washington, 3rd place Keystone Oaks, all in. Allegheny Conference, Deron Barksdale, 179 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Steel Valley, looky here. Ironman win at South Allegheny, 33-12, handing the Gladiators their first loss of the season. Apollo Ridge, 28. Ligonier Valley, 14. Alex Clausen, 9 of 17 passing, 151 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Vikings. And Javon Johnston, 9 of 18 passing, 137 yards and a touchdown. Shadyside Academy, 15. South Park, 6. So a 3-way tie for the conference championship between South Allegheny, Steel Valley, and Apollo Ridge. The order based on tiebreaker points and then head-to-head. Steel Valley is 1, South Allegheny 2, and Apollo Ridge is 3. Bubble team is Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. All right, let's go to Class A now. 16 teams. Top 3 teams in each of the 4 conferences are in, and there are 4 wild cards. Matt Sieg, 245 yards, 4 touchdowns in his final regular season home game. Fort Cherry 49, Sarah Catholic 8. Tavian Taylor, 2 touchdowns. Big win for Monessen at home over Cornell in a battle for 4th place. Greyhounds 30 and the Raiders 28. Bishop Canavan tomorrow evening closes out the regular season with a home game against Burgettstown. Big 7 conference. Colton Carlson, 91 yards rushing and a touchdown. Laurel, 14. Neshannock, 7. Andrew Corfield, 3 touchdowns as Southside wins the Battle of the Rams, knocking off Rochester 35-0. Tomorrow afternoon, it's a win and you're alive. Win and you're in 4th place. You take 4th place and are alive for a wild card. Shenango is at Summit Academy. Big 7 conference. Laurel is your conference champion. They're in. Southside is 2nd. They're in. And Neshannock is 3rd. They are in. And again, 4th place to be decided Saturday afternoon between Shenango and Summit Academy. The winner is a bubble team for a wild card. Class A's Eastern Conference. Clairton 53, Brentwood nothing. Another shutout for the Bears as they have won 8 straight. Dante Wright, 3 touchdowns, including a 55-yard punt return for the Bears. Samir Crosby, 7 of 12 passing, 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also 150 yards on the ground and 2 more scores. Greensburg Central Catholic upsets Leechburg 36-7. Kaimani Brown, 2 touchdown runs, a touchdown pass. Jeanette shuts out Riverview 36-0. And Derek Diamond, 2 touchdown runs. Brady Sechrist, 2 touchdown passes. Frazier beats Springdale 57-6. Clairton is your conference champion at 1. Leechburg locked into 2nd place at 2. Jeanette clinches, and they are locked in in 3rd place. 4th place goes to Frazier, so they're the first bubble team. But don't forget, Greensburg Central Catholic is in 5th place, and they have to be considered a bubble team for a wild card spot after that big win over Leechburg. Finally, the Tri-County South. Malachi Peak, 270 yards and 4 touchdowns. California, 36. Jefferson Morgan, 14. The Trojans, your outright conference champions in the TCS. Bentworth, 35-0 over Avella. Beth Center, 26. West Green, 21. And Will Murray, 269 yards and 2 touchdowns as Carmichael's whitewashes Mapletown, 54-0. TCS, in 3 teams. California, your conference champion. Bentworth finishes 2nd. Jefferson Morgan finishes 3rd. Avella tied with Carmichael's and Beth Center for 4th place. Tiebreaker points, Avella and Beth Center tied at -8. So it goes back to head-to-head, and that goes to Avella. So Avella is the 4th place team on the bubble in an effort to try to get into the playoffs. We'll see. Remember last year, Tri-County South did not get a 4th playoff team. We'll see if they do this season. The Eagles, by the way, with the loss, are now 6-4. Dom Andrioli, 162 yards rushing. Aaron Walsh, 160 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Andrioli had 1 score as Chartiers Houston, playoff bound, knocks off Northgate 56-20. Let's take a look at real quick. It's some of the independent final scores. Wheeling Central Catholic beat Brashear 48-20. The Bulls finish 1-9. Carrick finishes 3-5 after shutting out the Railroaders of Collinwood, Ohio, 62-0. Butler finishes at 7-3. They lose to Central Clarion from District 9, 21-14. Bronzeville finishes 0-8. They lose to Toronto, not the Blue Jays, but the Red Knights from Ohio, 54-22. Connellsville finishes 2-8. They lose to Fairmont, West Virginia, 42-7, a win for the Polar Bears. And Southern Garrett, Maryland, knocks off Uniontown 33-13. The Red Raiders also finish 2-8. But the big story from the independents, Albert Gallatin, a perfect 10-0. The Colonials win at home over Weir, West Virginia, 34-6. Congratulations to the Colonials. Congratulations to all the teams that have clinched playoff berths. The playoffs beginning next Friday. And for those bubble teams, best wishes. Have a good night's sleep. Also, by the way, I wanted to mention City League Championship Saturday afternoon. Westinghouse takes on University Prep. The Wildcats are actually the regular season champs in the City League after they beat the Bulldogs a couple weeks ago. Thanks to Chris Lackner. Long day for him Friday, long day for him Saturday. We appreciate him helping us out here on this edition, final regular season edition of the Rebel Yell podcast. 3 o'clock, we'll talk to you for the WPIAL Football Playoff Pairing Show presented by Edgar Snyder and Associates right here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.